I was the reliable one, the one everyone counted on, the one who always had a smile even when I was breaking inside. But one day, I looked in the mirror and wondered, who is this stranger? I couldn't recognize the person looking back. That was the day I stopped pretending. Welcome to the Bounce Back Voice, a space for healing, truth, and transformation. I am Alice Gidui, the Bounce Back Coach, and today's episode is personal. It's raw. It's about the masks we wear, the roles we play, and the moment we finally choose to say, enough is enough. Let's start with something many of us know all too well, the weight of pretending. How we become versions of ourselves just to survive, to keep peace, to meet expectations. Pretending is heavy, and too often we don't even talk about it. We become who we think we need to be, not who we truly are. For family, that might mean being the strong one who never shows weakness, the peacemaker who keeps the peace at all costs. For friends, it might be the fun one, the one who always lifts the mood, even when inside we are struggling. For followers or social media, it's the polished version of ourselves, the highlight reel, the carefully curated image that hides the mess beneath. At work, it could be the perfect employee, the always on, always efficient person who can never say no. For business partners or in business, it's the confident leader, the expert who always shows strength while silently battling inner fears and uncertainties. Even with strangers, we might put on a mask of confidence or happiness just to avoid awkwardness or judgment. If we go deeper, pretending looks like that executive who secretly loves painting, whose heart lights up at the sight of colors, but who locks up the brushes because what will people say if they see me doing this instead of closing big deals? They ask. It also looks like the student who dreams of studying music, writes songs late at night, but by day wears the mask of a future doctor or lawyer, engineer, just to satisfy the family's expectations. It's the mother who is breaking inside, carrying the silent battles no one knows about. Yet, she puts on a smile every morning so she won't be judged as weak or ungrateful. It's the minister, pastor, or caregiver who pours into others week after week, but inside is weary, lonely, and exhausted, still pretending to be unshakable because showing cracks might disappoint the very people they serve. It is the well-off son or daughter in a family who keeps paying the so-called black tax, supporting everyone financially, or resenting the very people they love, trapped between generosity and silent bitterness. Pretending isn't harmless. It quietly eats away at your joy and identity, suffocating your soul. It's a cage built from expectations, appearances, and unspoken rules. The longer you stay in it, the smaller your true self becomes. Stopping pretending is not rebellion, it's liberation. It is choosing honesty, even when it costs you, and in that choice, you begin to breathe again. You start living as the person God designed you to be. As a coach, I wore the mask too. I pretended to be okay, helping clients find their strength, even as I quietly broke inside. I knew how to hold space for others, but I hadn't yet learned how to hold it for myself. That experience didn't make me less qualified. It made me more human. And in time, it made me a better coach because I stopped leading only from knowledge and started leading from lived truth. But the problem is, these versions aren't us. They are roles we slip into to protect ourselves, to be accepted, or even to survive. The longer we wear these masks, the heavier they get, like layers of stone pressing down, squeezing out the real us. Our fears, our pain, our imperfections, buried beneath until the face in the mirror looks like a total stranger. But here is the thing. No mask can hold forever. For me, the breaking point didn't come with a bang. There wasn't a big explosion. One day, I came home, sat on the edge of my bed, and I couldn't move. Not just from exhaustion, but from emptiness so deep it swallowed me whole. I was breaking silently on every level. Emotionally, I was drained from constantly pretending. Mentally, I was overwhelmed by the pressure to keep it all together. Physically, I felt too tired to do anything. Socially, I was withdrawing, feeling disconnected, even in a room full of people. And spiritually, I felt distant from God, from purpose, even from myself. That silence was loud, and in that moment, I heard a voice inside me say, "This isn't you, Alice. You're allowed to stop performing. You're allowed to sit in your pain without rushing to cover it with a smile. You're allowed to admit, I'm exhausted, I am hurting, I can't keep carrying this alone." That was the beginning of my truth. Stopping pretending looks like whispering the truth even when your voice shakes. It's the moment you choose honesty over hiding. Tears over forced laughter, silence over fake conversations. In that raw place, you discover freedom because healing begins when pretending ends. So, what happened when I finally stopped pretending? Well, things didn't magically get easier, but they did get real. And that's where the healing began emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and even professionally. Emotionally, I started feeling this again, not just stuffing them down or filtering them for other people's comfort. Grief, joy, anger, relief. I gave myself permission to feel it all and to stop apologizing for being human. Mentally, I began to quiet the noise, the pressure, the self criticism, the lies I had told myself to survive. And one of the most powerful tools that helped me to do that was writing. Writing became my therapy. On the page, I didn't have to pretend. I could be messy, angry, honest, confused, and still be safe. It helped me put words to what I was feeling. And over time, it helped me rewrite the story I was living. Physically, I slowed down and began to listen to my body. I started exercising again, not to punish myself, but to honor my body. I began eating healthier, fueling myself with care, not just convenience. I chose rest when I needed it, and I started treating my body like a partner, not a machine. Socially, I stopped showing up as a role and started showing up as myself. That shift made me lose some friendships, but it also revealed who was truly in my corner. The connections that remained were real, honest, and life giving. Spiritually, I started to find my way back, not through performance or perfection, but through surrender. I reconnected with my God, not the version that I felt I had to impress, but the one who met me in my brokenness and loved me anyway. And professionally, I realigned. I let go of roles and work that didn't reflect my truth. I stopped showing up as the expert who had it all together and started showing up as a guide who had been through it. My calling didn't disappear, it deepened, and from that place, I began to build again with integrity, with honesty, and with purpose. The mask was gone. And what I found underneath wasn't perfect, but it was me. And that was enough. If any of this feels familiar to you, if you're carrying the weight of your own mask right now, I want you to say this. I am not alone. I am not weak for feeling tired. There is a way back to myself, and it starts with permission to stop pretending and be real. If you're listening to this and you feel exhausted from holding it all together, from pretending to be okay, I want you to hear this. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are just human, and being human is not a flaw. It is a gift. I know what it is like to smile on the outside and ache on the inside. To be the helper, the fixer, the strong one for everyone but yourself. And I also know what it is like to finally say enough is enough. You don't have to wait for permission to be real. You don't have to hit rock bottom before you take the mask off. You're allowed to stop performing. You're allowed to heal. You're allowed to be fully, messily, beautifully you. And if you don't know where to start, try writing. Not to impress anyone, not to be perfect, just write. Let your truth have a voice, even if it shakes. Healing doesn't happen all at once. But every time you tell the truth, even just to yourself, you take a step back to you. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. If this episode hit home for you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who might need to hear it too. Try out the writing prompt. Where in my life am I pretending? And what would it feel like to take off the mask? Just write whatever comes up. No pressure, no judgment. And hey, if you want to chat, share your story, or need some support, you can find me and other resources using the links in the description. Remember, healing is not a race. It's a journey. You got this. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review. And I'll catch you in the next episode of The Bounce Back Voice. Until next time, I am Alice Gidhui, the Bounce Back Coach, reminding you that you don't have to fake it. You are enough as you are.